It's our A value. And it's the absolute value of the A value. It's always positive. Always positive. Okay. If it's negative number, then it would still have a positive amplitude. It would just be a reflection. The midline is going to be y equals d. Because we're adding that number at the end, whatever this number is going to tell you what your midline is. If it's plus 5, midline's y equals 5. If it's minus 2 out here, your midline's y equals negative 2. If it's minus 3, it's y equals negative 3. Okay, that's our midline. The period, and remember, this is for sine and cosine. The original period for sine and cosine, when there are no transformations going on, is 2 pi, right? Here we have a horizontal dilation, right? A multiplication by a number on the x by b. And remember, like if this was a 2, that means we would shrink by 2. If this was a quarter, that means we would stretch by 4. So the period is always going to be the original period divided by whatever this b value is. And then what you do with this is to find the key points when you're graphing, right? Use quarter intervals of this, of the period, like we did here, right? This was one period, so we broke it into 1, 2, 3, 4 chunks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals. That's what I mean by once you have your period, break it into quarters so you know how much to add on after you have your phase shift, your starting point when you're graphing. The last thing is, how do we find that phase shift? The phase shift is basically the starting point for the x, and you find this by solving bx minus c equals 0. Sometimes you might have, right, bx plus c equals 0. When you solve that, you're going to add a c and divide by a b. So you get x equals c over b, or x equals negative c over b if it was a plus, right? So just solve it. Don't try to memorize because it might be like plus or minus. It doesn't matter. Just, I mean, it's a quick, easy solve. Right, and that tells you to start there. That's your starting point. Your starting x value. If it's a positive number, then your phase shift is right that amount. If it's a negative number, that means your phase shift is left that amount. Okay, so in general, I've realized that this WebAssign assignment is multiple choice, and you get multiple options or attempts at each problem. So you shouldn't get any wrong. And also, you're on a Chromebook or a computer, so you have access to things like Desmos.com. I strongly recommend when you get a problem, try to graph it on a piece of paper, and then check your work on Desmos. Or, graph it and see which one matches up. That way, like, yeah, you have these resources, but if we were in regular school, like, we wouldn't have all these resources. So try it on paper, and then, check it with technology. I hope this video is somewhat entertaining and helpful, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and good luck on the homework.